Hey guys, this is Luke Miller here from the Sydney office, systems engineer. There's just been a few questions around DR as a service and VMware and Veeam not working in a multi-tenanted environment. I just have been playing around with Virtual Center and really wanted to just show you guys what I've done to kind of provide this multi-tenancy view so customers can come into service providers and potentially have multiple customers in the one virtual center without seeing the rest of the other customers' virtual servers. And really it's just a case to proof test it and see what you guys think, and if anyone can see any holes which I've missed, would really be interested for the feedback on that. So I'll just quickly show you how it's done. It's not that complicated. Firstly, I've just written up a quick process here, and all it really involves is creating an Active Directory user specific to that customer. In this scenario I'm using demo virt.admin1, and for another customer demo virt.admin2. Then I'm going to be creating a resource pool for that customer, a network dedicated, a data store, and a folder for that customer as well. Pretty straightforward, and I'll go through that. So first off, we look into the virtual center and we just go through these four options, starting with hosts and clusters. And you can see here I've created a customer A, customer B, and moving on, VMs and templates, another similar thing, customer A, customer B. And data stores, I'm just going to be giving customer A access to this data store and customer B access to, actually it's this data store. And lastly, the networking. This in theory would be a separate network for each of your customers, so either replicating a VLAN of theirs or potentially creating a brand new VLAN. And this is just for DR, so potentially that re-IP would be produced here. So firstly, we're going to go in and look at the user we've created. So all those folders have been created now, and then we're just going to go through and assign a role. So this is a role I've created, and this is just a, through the most limited permissions for Virtual Center for DR, and it's pretty straightforward. I've called the role group Cloud User Group, Cloud User _ LM, and then gone through these attributes and just selected all of the specific attributes. And I'm happy to share this document as well, and I'll just put that on the link once I've finished. And then we go through there. It's pretty straightforward, and this is where we get into the guts of it. So at the service center, at the data center level, we add the user with that specific role group. So if we just go back to hosts and clusters here, and then have a look at the data center level, and what I've done is I've added virt1 and virt2 at this object with Cloud User LM. Now as we go down, I just want virt_admin1 to be accessed in customer A. So if we look through there, that permission does propagate all the way down. Okay, so his object is defined from AUSE servers, and then for all of the other objects, if we go through, you have to push a no access against him. So no access against that, no access against that, and so on. And then we go to the VM and templates view, and same again. So double checking, permission is set on this object, virt_admin1, and then as we go through customer A, permission is propagated, and customer B, this object I've put the deny access, so pretty much the no access on every other object. Similar. Okay, just to show you. Once again, we're looking at the data stores, a very similar scenario, and I've just put that in these notes here as well. So object set at this level. As we go through the data stores, we'll just see what I've done. Okay, so he's allowed into this data store but nobody else is. and then if we look at any of the other data stores, no access. No access. Okay. So the important thing to note here is as things get created, this is a manual step that a service provider would probably have to put in, and that being no access to any new data stores, any new hosts or clusters or resource pools. Is really important to have a tidy virtual center at this point, and the same thing for VMs and templates. If another folder gets created or a VM gets created, then he needs to be either tidied up into one of these folders to pick up the permissions or a specific permission held against it. So what I'm going to do here, and of this I've left here just to give you an example as well. So as we log in with one of the customer logins, we'll be able to see exactly what he sees. So demo /vert.admin1, and I'll also fire one up for customer 2, which I've done, and providing him his own resource pool, folder, etc. So there you go. Customer A, all he can see in here is that server, but this is the server that's been created outside of the process, and it's a replica that's not been pushed into a folder. So quite quickly we can see that problem and go in with the admin rights and then push this into replicas, and then we look inside the customer now and do a we should refresh, and there it's gone. So now this customer can only see his folder in there. If we look at the hosts and clusters, all he can see is his host and his resource pool. And then we select over to the storage and we have a look what storage this customer can see, and as you can see, you just see one data store. Now what's interesting in here is even though he can see that data store, he's only going to be able to see the VM inside that particular folder, so or resource pool. So those permissions propagate through from here. Even though if we go back to an admin view of this and we look at this data store, we can see that there are multiple VMs in there that have got nothing to do with the customer. Being at the admin level, I can see everything, but the customer, obviously, he can only see that VM. Now I'm just going to show you into the lab now. I've got a lab set up here with a virtual center and it's a VBR server and a couple of hosts and DC, etc. Okay, so inside here we can see that I've got the virtual center that I'm connected to, and this has got all of my VMs in it, and I've got the hosting servers virtual center as well. I've set up a process here in how to do this, so I'm just going to quickly go through that. So first off is to create a VPN from the customer's backup server into the Sydney office, and we can see that I've got a VPN there connected in. Secondly, we go in and there are a few other steps here about creating a backup seed and pushing it off to a folder with the permissions for that customer. Add in the virtual center, you've just seen that. Add the AUVBR server to be used for a proxy and repository for the seed. Now this could be any server that the service provider gives to that. They may even give them their own server. But just to quickly show you here of the virtual machines and the view, if we drill through now the service provider's virtual center, and just drill through there, you can see that I can't see anything else inside that virtual center apart from my resource pool with my replica in there, and there's the ESX host all ready to go. And then obviously inside my virtual center I can see everything else. This is the same for customer B as well. So the same applies for customer B, which I've set up another VBR server here. So if we go into the backup and replication server there, we can see we've also added the same virtual center, but if we go into the infrastructure here, virtual machines, and go and browse through here, you'll see what we can see. Okay, browse through that, and there you go, just customer B's resource pool. And so if we set up a job, now there is a job in here already, and I'm just going to edit the settings on this job just so I can show you. We look at the destination and we browse through, and we can only once again browse through this particular host, which we're happy with, choose a specific resource pool, VM folder, only the customer A folder is appearing, and lastly we go to the the data store, and there you have it, you can only see that particular data store. And then there are some things when we fail over and fail back where we can look into permissions, and I can go into that as well. So guys, just quickly edited this, and I put up a failover over one of the VMs. So I failed over this VM, and you can now see this VM is actually running live on my production estate. So we'll just go up to that users virtual center, and you can see now we've got a live VM running on this side. Okay. When we go to failover, I just wanted to point out a few different options, and this is often where you'll see some of the permissions. So we go next here, and then we select this one, restore to a different location. We can actually browse into a lot of different areas inside that virtual center. So if I select this and edit this, you can see I've got all of these options here. So it's really crucial to make sure that that cloud user cannot see into other users' data. So once again, I'm just going to prove a point here. He can only get into this customer A and look at his live replicated VM. And then as we move along to virtual machines, once again, only the customer A's folder. And lastly, if we just go through the data stores, then we've just got that one data store, and more importantly, just that one VM on that data store. Okay, so that's about it for now. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to drop me an email. Really keen to get anybody's feedback, and look forward to hearing you. Thanks guys, bye.